We were treated really badly. They thought it was cringe.
You have the mind of an entrepreneur. If Ladybeard had realized wigs were a possibility, I would have made several different life choices from day one.
My dad actually was into medieval reenacting.
Dr. Shalossus just put on a shirt. That's all he did.
Who is Dr. Shalossus?
I have no idea.
Keep rolling. What? Keep rolling. Come on. Rolling. Yeah.
Welcome to an episode of
Now I know you're in love with Cat with Beard. Cathy Cat. Ladybeard right here. People in the house, they hit you with the mic. You don't care. We don't care. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Smacked you in the mic.
That's
I'm so
how
sorry.
we lose our guests.
I'm so sorry. That was
We'll
awful.
survive.
Well, the singing has begun, so
right.
it's going to be a musical episode. Hello, welcome back to another toe curling installment of
Cat with Beard.
I'm Ladybeard. She's Cathy Cat.
Yep.
We have an amazing guest with us today. Introduce yourself, guest.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marmalade. Nice to meet you.
Yay! And this episode that we're having here today is about how you became a cosplayer, but not just a cosplayer, also how you became a costume designer. So you're taking it to the whole new level. Marmalade, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for having me on today. I'm so
Pleasure.
excited.
Thank you for coming and tell the people, give everyone an introductory spiel, where you're from, what you're doing in Japan, the whole thing. Go.
Yeah, where am I from? I'm from a really small town in Australia called Brisbane, which
Vegas.
everybody apologizes to me when I tell them I'm from Brisbane. They're like, I'm sorry to hear that. Yes.
Why?
I left Brisbane this year to move to Japan to pursue my goals of becoming an idol, content creator, YouTuber, everything, because there's so much opportunity here in Tokyo, in Japan, and so many people who are so creative doing it here. So I wanted to come and take myself to the center of the action. But I've been doing cosplay for like 10 years now.
10 years?
Yeah, long time now. And recently been doing a lot of idol stuff as well. I've been in 3 kind of groups total. Yeah, 3 groups. And at the moment here in Japan, I'm taking it solo, which has been quite an ordeal, quite an experience, but documenting everything I'm doing on YouTube, which has been really fun. So yeah.
It's been an ordeal.
It's been an ordeal going solo. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
We were-
running so low. Sorry, keep going as you were.
So the second part of the episode is going to be about your idol life. And the first part, we're going to focus on the cosplay, which is probably the start of everything. So where did your whole passion for all of this start?
It long time ago, I think in high school, I was kind of like a bit of a, what's the word? Like a social outcast. Let's say that. I didn't have a lot of friends in high school, in primary school, high school.
You're so outgoing.
I am now, thanks to cosplay. But
Okay,
it didn't
thank
always
you.
start that way.
Really?
Yes,
Oh, wow.
yes.
Okay, all
I would say I discovered anime. I think, the USB was getting passed around the classroom with the anime on it.
goodness.
The very legal anime.
Oh, so what was the first very legal anime you saw?
I think it would have been like Oran High School Host Club. Yeah, honestly.
That's a reverse harem.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a classic. Great anime.
It's one girl, lots and lots of handsome boys. Very funny, lots of comedy.
Holy
It's very
moly.
sweet.
You
Love
went,
story.
You went to school in a different generation from I.
I did.
Well,
that is
not
correct.
a single USB got passed at all. All right, so you watched a harem anime on a USB from Guinevere in 4th grade, and then what happened?
Lachlan or someone, yeah. Then I discovered that there was Supernova happening in my local town.
That's I assume a convention.
Big old
It
con.
is a big convention, which you've been to.
I've actually not been to Supernova.
You haven't been
Supernova
to?
it's one. It happens in every city in Australia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big event. And I went there and I saw other people cosplaying. I thought, that is so cool. I didn't know that you could do that. And then I went on a deep dive on the internet to like DeviantArt, finding all the other people doing cosplays. And they made so many tutorials. So at the time, I was very poor. Let's say that. I was broke. Could not afford to buy my own cosplay. No. But anyway, I looked at the quality and I was like, this is not very good. You know what?
Already the critical eye was there.
It was. I was like, I'm not paying like $100 for like a crappy AliExpress cosplay. Like, no, thank you. I'm going to figure out how to make it myself. So that was the trigger, I guess. It was the start of being like, I don't know if buy this cosplay. I'm going to try and figure out how to make it on my own. And at the time, I think it was a really supportive community cosplay where you could learn and people weren't like keeping secrets. Like there were so many tutorials on the internet how to learn. So my dad actually was into reenactment, medieval reenacting.
Oh, really?
So it
Oh, that's
was
cool.
kind of a already in the family.
In the bloodline. But he had a sewing machine and an overlocker. So I took it out one day and I just Googled my way to learn how to sew and made my own cosplays.
Which was your that's already cool to start from making, not from buying.
You have the mind of an entrepreneur.
Maybe.
You said, I want these. I think these are low quality. I'll make my own. That's an entrepreneurial mindset, eh?
But just for myself, I didn't go and like sell them till much later.
Wow.
Which is, we will talk about that as well. What was the very first costume then that you wore after you've been inspired by Supernova?
The first one I made, I believe, is from an anime called Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicle.
Oh, yeah. Who were you?
I was Sakura. So in the very initial outfit in the desert where they're getting swapped into the beginning of the storyline, I was obsessed with the manga at the time. So I think my grandma actually helped me a little bit with that one. My Oma, when she was visiting, she helped me. My Oma.
I mean, that already, like, if you think Clamp, which is where Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicle comes from, their outfits are generally all very elaborate. So you didn't start at a school uniform, which was what many people start with, the simply school uniform kind of thing. Yeah. You went straight to a 10.
Yeah.
Like your first cosplay, I expected, honestly, just a school uniform.
Oh, really? No.
Going straight for Clamp, Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicle, that's like lots of detail.
It was. She has these like gemstones on her chest, and like instead of making like actual resin or anything or like getting a rhinestone, we literally just got like a styrofoam ball and cut it in half and like draped it in like satin fabric. So it wasn't a very good cosplay, but we were very resourceful. We kind of just used whatever materials that were there and went with it.
Right.
Yeah. Resourcefulness is what gets results.
Exactly. So
all right.
You made that. Where did you wear it the first time and what were the reactions? Because if that hadn't been a good experience, you wouldn't be here where you are.
That's a good point, actually. I think I wore it to Supernova, probably Brisbane, and I didn't have a wig. I remember this. I didn't know how to do makeup. I didn't have a wig. So I went to the hairdresser to cut my hair like that.
Oh, wow.
Really?
That is, wow. Next level.
And she stared at me like, okay, you want this? Okay. But the reactions, I think, were good. I don't really remember at the time, but it definitely wasn't negative. I think it was positive. I think it was my first step into like the cosplay community. And I noticed, I think people already wanted to like come up to me and take photos together, and other people who knew Sakura and like the Tsubasa series. Yeah.
Is it considered in the cosplay community? Is it considered more dedicative to use your real hair or to get a wig?
It's definitely more dedicative to get a really good wig. I would say that you are definitely looked down upon, depending on what it is. If you're cosplaying from a movie or like a live action and your hair looks similar, but even then, I think in every case nowadays, the standard is always to get a wig.
Really?
It's
so hang on.
hair, though.
You use your actual hair. You dedicated yourself to the point at which you went to the hairdresser and you said, I'm going to have this for the next like 3 months or something. To me, that seems far more dedicative than to just get some thingamajig and stick it on your head and then take it off when you're done with it. To me.
Well, I would say though, it really depends on also if your hair cut looks better than a cheap wig, then go for that. But generally, you're trying to create a different character who's not really a 3D character. So it makes sense to wear a wig which kind of has that perfect hair with the kind of weird cut, especially if you think of some anime hairstyles, you cannot recreate them IRL.
Exactly.
If Ladybeard had realized wigs were a possibility, I would have made several different life choices from day one.
Just not too late.
You don't want to.
Usually think of summer and wearing a wig in summer. It's hard.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You probably had to do that before.
I once played Mozart in a piece of theatre. I wore a wig for that. That's my only real wig experience.
No, Anya.
Oh, sorry, Anya, of course. That was a wig experience.
Anya.
It turns out I probably have millions of wig experiences.
Probably do. You probably do.
On top of my head. It's probably what happened.
Probably.
Back to you.
Yes. We start with Sakura, and then you got good feedback, so you're like, let me make more.
Yes.
How does this story continues of being a costume maker?
I think that being at the con space, I noticed these competitions that were happening at these events that were especially designed for craftsmanship, and they kind of rewarded you on a basis of how good your costuming was. So I think towards the end of high school, I remember studying for my final exams and at the same time making a really detailed Love Live costume because this is where Love Live entered my life, and it was
at the same time as your final exam.
Same time. Oh yeah.
Mum and Dad wouldn't have liked that.
Oh, they hated it.
Unless it was your
surprised.
stop studying your recreation so you can study again type activity.
I don't know if that's how I remember it, but I did like art, drama, and film in high school, so I was very much like already in that space. I think my parents were already like, okay, we've lost her.
They'd already surrendered. Yeah, enough, fair enough. Yes.
Love Live is an anime that contains idols, for those who don't know. So I guess that was your transition into wanting to be an idol too?
Yes, that was the beginning of it. Absolutely. It started with just cosplaying from it, and then it evolved into doing covers of the choreography and the actual MVs, like making the right costume with the right dance and doing it all together. You know, it was like the satisfying process. And like, a little bit down the line, I met friends that way. So it became easy to invite someone to participate in a group together. And that way, you know, build friendships through doing that experience together, working towards a project together.
Group cosplay is like such a like squad goal kind of thing where like more and more people of the same show dress up as different characters from the same show. It looks amazing and it builds, like you said, friendships.
It can be hit or miss. Like obviously I think everyone's had a horrific group cosplay experience. Like I've had ones where I paid for all the cosplay and then never got the cosplay. And like, I feel like a lot of people tell me as well, like, oh, I wish I could be in a group like you were, like in a Love Live group. And it just doesn't work out. Like some people don't show up on the day. You really just have to like keep putting yourself out there and meet the right people to make the right project work. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're transitioning from normal cosplay to cosplay with dancing.
Yes.
What was the next step?
So it was really hard in the beginning because a lot of the conventions were just like had competition. So I did one called MNCC back in the day through Mad Men. They used to run a competition around Australia where you do national heats. I made it to the finals in that, and that kind of like started my love for like competitive cosplay. I was like, okay, this is fun. Really want to do that. Yeah, and that's actually where I met my WCS partner later down the line. So
explain what's WCS.
WCS is the World Cosplay Summit, which literally just happened in Nagoya in Japan. Happens every year. It's like the Olympics of cosplay. I think it's the coolest event ever.
Really?
Yeah, there's 36 countries that go and compete every year. Teams of 2 compete on a national stage and they do little performances and you have to make the costumes. It's amazing. It's epic.
And there's a lot of, my understanding is there's very strict rules about your costumes. You have to make them all yourselves. It's only like 20% of it can be from any other source or something along these lines. Yeah.
Something along those lines. There are 77 pages worth of rules.
Oh my goodness. I was going to ask you, can you tell us the rules? But that's all. I don't have 77
bro, I'm already
minutes
not entering because I can't be bothered going through the rules, bro.
But unfortunately, that's the mindset a lot of people have now. And it's unfortunate because it stops people from entering. But
they should put the rules on audiobook.
They should.
Yeah.
I'm going to
like
suggest
make a podcast of that. Just listen
it's just
to
a great idea. It's us reading the rules of WCS.
You should do it.
We just, we split between even or odd numbers and we reach out.
That's a great idea.
Never been done before idea right there, guys.
Yeah,
I love it.
Hey, we're all entrepreneurs.
Exactly.
This is amazing.
So I assume, tell me some of the most important rules for the World Cosplay Summit that people should know before actually touching it.
Yeah, all right. So probably the number one rule when you're considering is that you have to cosplay from a Japanese source medium, whether it's a game, anime, or whatever. It has to
be Star Wars.
No, it cannot be anything from Western media. Even things like Edge Runners, where it's like a bit of a blurred line, whether or not that's American or Japanese, has to be fully Japanese origin. Yeah, something to do with
the sponsor is maybe then in Japan.
Lots of Japanese companies. They change out every year, but majority it's to promote like Japanese tourism and the culture here and everything. So I'd say that's the number one biggest rule.
All right.
The second rule, I'm trying to think. There's like so many strange specific ones. Like you cannot be hidden on stage during a performance for I think more. Yeah, like if there's 2 of you, right? You can't make the performance, like you can't hide for more than I think 30 seconds of the skit. You have to be
so you can't go backstage for longer than 30 seconds.
No, or like behind your walls or something.
All right, so it can't be like a surprise appearance or something like that.
Yeah.
So like popping out of the cake would be a no then.
Pretty much. There's ways around it, but yeah, there's so many fiddly rules.
Probably also how many props you're allowed to take, stuff like that.
I was going to say there's an iconic skit in 2015 2015 that changed the rules to limit prop amount, because I think Team Mexico, they did win that year, but they had so many props that they had to just put a cap on the limit. I think you can only take 40 kilos worth now with you, and you get weighed before you go on stage as well. So they do weigh you.
I expected number of items, not a kilogram amount.
This is like fighting in the UFC. You're going to get weighed, got to make weight, got to dehydrate beforehand.
Pretty much.
Hang on. I've got to tell you, I'm kind of confused.
Okay.
Keep using the word skit.
Yes.
What actually do you do, and what is the contest?
Okay, so the contest itself is a performance, like theatrical based skit.
Oh, okay.
So you have to submit a 2.5 minute, I think is the cap, performance, where you're usually lip syncing to the audio, and no copyright music as well is a big one. So you're allowed to make covers of songs, but you're not allowed to, do that. So a lot of the kinds of genres people do are action. Well, they do a big fight skit.
Good.
Do all the choreography?
I approve of that.
Those aren't actually that good, in my opinion. I think that they are so overdone by now. And a lot of people also do costume changes and
reveals, maybe?
Yep, reveals is a popular one. But it becomes the kind of thing where people are just trying to out trick everyone. You know what I mean? Like
more props and things.
Piece of theater, you're recreating a scene from an anime?
It doesn't have to be a recreation. You could come up with your complete original own skit. So if you wanted to see like your favorite Gojo and whoever with obviously from the same source material, but you can invent your own scenes if you want, bring that to life.
Really?
Question.
Yeah.
We had an episode on this podcast where we talked about cosplay and also a lot of things you're not allowed to damage the character. Meaning the character is not allowed to be smoking. The character is not allowed to be doing anything sexual. There's a lot of strict rules in Japan. And since a lot of the sponsors are Japanese, does this apply in the West or does it not apply in the West? Do you have like people snogging on stage or like smoking on stage or something like that?
I would say not in the years that I've been attending conventions, but I think I've definitely seen it in the West happen, like on YouTube. In America more so, the characters being defaced and things like that, doing kind of inappropriate things. But I would say in Australia, I've definitely seen like make out things happen on stages, like shipping character things.
Is that forbidden for the World Cosplay Summit?
I'm not sure. I know that the sexual activities and things like that, any of that nature is completely prohibited, but I'm not sure about like smoke. You're not allowed to have smoke, for like stage purposes, but otherwise I'm not sure how much. I'm sure that there's a rule within the 77 pages that says something, but that's not one that my skit like flagged. So nothing's coming to head in my mind. Yeah.
Sorry. So you can sing, dance, do some comedy, represent something, show an outfit. Is not allowed to go over 2.5 minutes.
Yep.
And you have to pre-record what you're saying on stage because there's no mics.
Yes, exactly. So
you can't sing live.
No, you can't sing live. It's all pre-recorded.
So an audio track plays and then you lip sync to your pre-recorded words.
Exactly. Which is great if you're cosplaying. Like if you're cross-playing, it means you can get like a male voice actor to then portray yourself on stage, which helps the performance, all look more like you're bringing that anime to life or whatever it be. You also have this amazing screen behind you. So it's a really great like kind of medium to play with in terms of
video
like
screen.
Yeah. So fully customizable. It's like a projector, I think.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So you can put whatever you want out there.
So you submit an audio track, but you also submit a video.
Yeah. So
are
sorry,
they
it's
the
like
same thing or are they separate from each
AV
other?
file. It's both the same thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
A lot of resources that you get immediate access to. But that's great. That's okay. That's fair. Hang on. We've spoken about this so long. I've forgotten how you ended up there in the first place. How did you end up there?
I had to name drop Jeremy, who became my WCS partner.
Jezebel.
Who I met back at one of my first ever competitions ever, MNCC, back in 2017. So we only went on to do WCS in 2023, so last year. So
what is a partner for that?
Partner. So WCS, you have to have a teammate to enter the competition.
So you can't go by yourself.
You cannot enter by yourself.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it's a duo competition.
Is it only 2 or can it be like 3 or 5?
Only two. Yeah.
Hang on, I'm sorry. I'm still confused. How did we get from you were making a costume for Love Live during your final exams to suddenly you're at the World Cosplay Summit?
So I entered this MNCC Love Live end of high school competition, which is where I met Jeremy.
Right.
Yes.
So that connects you.
But then what happened?
Later.
Then Jeremy took you to WC?
No. A few years in between.
I'm so confused.
did skip. I just wanted to mention that that's where I met Jeremy. So I'm sorry I have confused you there. But after I did the MNCC competition, I went on to do 2 years of really intense Love Live group activities.
I see.
So I was in a group with 8 other girls, occasionally rotating in and out. Yeah, we did like every single convention that we could. And the only way that we could perform at these events was through the competitions, because they did not have like an idol or performance stage or anything like that. So we were treated really badly by a few events because they hated Love Live cosplayers. They hated it. They hated it so much.
Why?
I don't know, because it's cringe. They thought it was cringe.
But it's what?
I know. I know.
Hey, hang on. The convention, the people running the stage or the convention organizers?
The stage, I would say everybody involved with the competition process. So it would be like we've made 9 costumes and they would skip us during pre-judging because they just assumed we'd bought them. Because there's 9 of us, because that's what people did.
In this contest, who are the other people in the contest? It sounds to me like it's a Love Live contest, but then they hate Love Live.
This is a cosplay competition. This is because that's the only way that you could perform at a convention back in the day.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So, cosplay contest at the convention.
Yeah.
And you guys went on, cosplayed as the Love Live chicks, doing your Love Live performance.
Exactly.
And for some reason, they were all nasty to you. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I was just thinking like getting 8 girls to dance in unison on stage is pretty hard.
Yeah.
So, and like the preparation and effort that would have gone into that would have been a lot.
It was a lot.
It would have been a lot. It would have been a lot more than, Dr. Philosopher who just came on wearing a shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so
well, it would have been. There was a pre-production and so forth, rehearsal.
Oh my gosh.
Costuming. Dr. Philosopher just put on a shirt. That's all he did.
Who is Dr.
I have no idea.
I just made him up. I made him up, then I changed his name. I'm comparing you with someone who did a simple cosplay and went on stage. I
love that.
As opposed to your 8-person extravaganza.
Yeah.
So the 8-person extravaganza did their best, but didn't do so well during like cosplay competitions. But you have met your cosplay senpai already.
Capital J.
What made you go take the step from 8 people on stage to I want to join the World Cosplay Summit?
A few hop jumps in between happened for that. So I would say I went more into idol stuff for a few years. Like during the pandemic sort of times, we ran like an idol group where we formed an original unit. So we weren't cosplaying anymore. We decided it's too much to have to perfectly replicate these choreographies and characters every time. We don't want to dance with wigs anymore, We did some original things in 2019. And then the pandemic hit and that shut down pretty much everything.
That panini no one wanted.
No, it was perfect timing for me. I just moved out of home the month before the pandemic hit. It was great. It was great.
What did you do?
What did I do? I lost my job because I was working at the cinema at the time and they all shut down. And around the exact same time, the entire Love Live group that I was in had a huge fallout. So I lost all my friends at the same time.
I'm so sorry that happened to you.
It's okay. Things happen.
Okay.
Things happen.
Things definitely happen.
Okay, so how then the step to something else?
Yeah, I think to be honest, that time was like quite a bit hazy. Getting out of it.
Sounds hazeable.
Yeah, it was a bit hazy, but I think I started going to the gym. That was great.
Good.
The gym. Good. Yep, highly recommend. Listening to the Mindful podcast,
The
Cat with Beard podcast.
The Cat with Beard
podcast.
It's the most mindful of all the podcasts.
So mindful. So much self-help happening right here in this space. I love it. But then I think when events finally returned and like were happening again, I was really craving it. I was like, I want to get back in person. I'm sick of being online for everything. So I started up an idol group, and at the same time, WCS announced that they were back. And I've always wanted to enter it. And I think on a whim, I was at Supernova on the Gold Coast, and I saw Jeremy. I was like, I'm going to ask him if he wants to do WCS.
But I assume she crossplays a lot?
No. This is Jeremy as a man. Jeremy is a man.
So confused.
He's not.
Who's your cosplay senpai who's also your uncle?
Cosplay senpai is Kay, who also did work for Mad Men at the time. So I did meet them during the MNCC rounds. This is so confusing. I'm sorry.
But hang on. But at this moment of the story, you're with Jeremy. You haven't met Kay yet.
I have met Kay. She's working at the anime conventions.
Okay, there's a J and there's a K. J is male and K is female.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
those ones are cosplay senpai, so people who are like you look up to, they're very good, their quality is good.
Yes.
And you went to Jay, the guy, and asked the guy, would you like to be my partner for the World Cosplay Summit?
Exactly, Jeremy.
Why?
Why? Because he's somebody who's always had like a really good personality. We've clicked really well together, and I think that that's the main reason I wanted to work with him, is purely just personality types. And I've seen him entering competitions. I think he'd done like 6 or 7 of these competitive level cosplay competitions, and I've seen him do skits and do all this stuff before.
He's like very rugged male cosplayer.
He did all kinds of things. He cosplayed a rice cooker once.
I was gonna add like that helped, that like the being rugged helped, because a lot of cosplays, I mean, I've been to Thailand, and a lot of the male cosplayers, they have like topless kind of cosplays.
He's cosplayed a rice cooker, and then for we had to agree on what to cosplay, what to enter to WCS.
So you were like, you cosplayed as a rice cooker. It was so amazing. I would like to cosplay with you.
Exactly. And then we dressed him up as a demon, so you cannot see that it is Jeremy cosplaying as Jeremy, but we both really liked The Promised Neverland, and we thought that would make a really good dramatic skit. So we wanted to bring that to life. So I think we had from May till July to make something happen.
That's short for cosplay. Oh my goodness.
Very short amount of time. I think I made my cosplay in about 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Preliminaries at Smash in Sydney.
Good. Smash is a big anime convention in Sydney.
I think you were there.
I was there last year.
Yeah. Last year. Yeah. Yes. I saw you in the crowd. I was like, oh my God.
Hang on.
Wait, so Smash Con was your first challenge, your first competition challenge with your new partner.
Yes. Correct.
And if you made it through Smash Con, you get into WCS?
Exactly. Yes. You get sent a free trip flights to Japan. Yeah.
Okay, so Smash Con is like the pre-selection event.
The preliminaries.
Before you get into that.
Exactly.
What was the biggest challenge to get that and win that?
I think the biggest challenge for us was we were really worried we were going to get disqualified, because one of the rules states that you're not allowed to have realistic guns. And I had a semi-realistic looking gun, which is actually a net gun in the anime. It's canon, but we use it as a real gun in the skit. You know, things like that. And we also didn't know whether or not, like, because Jeremy's in stilts. He's about 3 meters tall in his full costume. He's a really big demon character, right? Taller than you, okay?
All right.
Yeah.
All right, fine. Look at this. Suddenly under accusation. Please continue.
I'm giving you the visual.
Understood. No worries.
3 meters tall and in stilts. So.
Yeah, we were worried about him being able to maneuver and get on stage and get off stage and things like that. So,
but hang on, and then it was hashtag cancel Marmalade because you used this gun.
What? No, it wasn't. It was all fine in the end. I thought I was going to get disqualified the whole time, but no, it was fine.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it was fine. No problem.
Right.
So you
stilts in arms.
So you passed SmashCon with flying colors, and then you went into the World Cosplay Summit.
Yes.
Which was held where?
In Nagoya, Japan.
In Nagoya?
Yeah.
And do you have to do a new cosplay and a new skit for that, or do you have to keep the old one?
You can do a new skit and new costumes if you want to, but for our sake, because I was also in my final year of university, we decided to just keep things the same and add some like little improvements. Yeah.
Okay, so you go to World Cosplay Summit. Mm-hmm. What is it like? What happens there?
Sorry, was that last year? Was that 2023?
It was last year.
Last year.
Okay, so all this Smash, then WCS, this was all last year.
Yes, yeah.
And this, when you were in Nagoya for this is when I met you, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm understanding my timelines accurately now. Excellent, cool.
I should have brought in like a PowerPoint slide.
Yeah, that would have been helpful. You're going to put the same thing on the screen at World Cosplay Summit. That would be very helpful in understanding things.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah, I've never been to World Cosplay Summit.
No, I really want to go.
You should
tell us what it's like. What it's like.
It.
What are the rules? What happens?
What's the atmosphere?
It's really hot. It's very humid. If you've ever been to Nagoya during summer, it's very warm, but the whole town celebrates and gets into cosplay. So Japanese community come out as well and they get all dressed up. And it's a series of like 4 or 5 events. It changes every year. So depending on what the lineup is, but usually the mayor and the governor of Aichi Prefecture actually come as well. They also get dressed up into cosplay. Nice. And there's all these official ceremonies. There's a red carpet event held at the Oasis 21, which is right near the Art Center, which is where the championship takes place. And there's usually quite a lot of media around there. So I'm sure that you guys could go along and, interview the cosplayers.
Probably should.
You should cosplay. You should go there cosplay.
Should be a Kaho there.
But I would have to go back to Australia and win a contest in order to go, wouldn't I?
But the locals are just dressing up for fun, right? The whole city just dresses up for fun,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Does Japan have a team?
Yes, and they actually won this year.
Oh, congratulations, Japan!
They win every now and then, but out of 36 teams. It's whoever's the best. But yes, they just won last weekend.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, with their Naruto skirt.
But hang
really
on,
good, really
stop.
good.
Sorry, let me just keep going this for 1 second. With WCS, so the contest that happens in each country, how is it determined where that contest happens? Is there one con that is the official WCS con and then they run the contest?
Yes,
So
that's how it works in Australia.
Right.
It's different in different countries. So I know that Brazil has 18 preliminaries before they send.
Hard.
Yes. So you know that team that's just showing up to the finals are really good, right?
Wow.
Yeah, Brazil's amazing. Oh my gosh, I love
If
them.
if you already made it to what, like how many conventions? 18?
18.
18.
Yeah.
You know, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah. So we just have the one and it's always held at Smash. So there's an agreement
SmashCon.
between the convention, like Smash and WCS.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I imagine the conventions are then in competition to see who can be the one who gets the WCS deal. Yeah?
No,
In each
not
country.
really.
Oh,
Not
no.
really. I'm not sure if it's, I'm not sure. I'm not on that
too,
side
I'm
of things,
not
but
Question. You won the contest last year?
I won the contest in 2022
Okay.
in Australia, the
In
preliminaries, to then go to.
To
But
go
you didn't win the
2023.
one and two.
I did not win anything at the finals. No,
All right.
we did not place.
Oh.
What happens if you win?
You get an invite to come back next year and judge the finals.
Oh, you become
cool.
a judge the year later. So you have
yeah.
like a free ticket to Japan.
Exactly.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And along with theirs, whatever sponsors there are that year, we usually give out awards as well and small prizes. I think there was like a suitcase this year.
A suitcase?
Suitcase
Does
full of
someone
money?
cosplay as the suitcase, just like the rice cooker?
Yeah.
No, it was just like a Johnny, what is it, a Walker or something?
Johnny Walker is not a brand of suitcases, my friend.
That's not.
I know what you're putting in your suitcase. Holy moly, Maya. That's where your 40 kilos of luggage for this WCS.
Are they
mate.
men's shoes? Johnny Walker's Reds? Johnny Walker's? No, it's liquor. My bad. My
You
bad.
went somewhere completely else.
My bad.
All right. So, what, in your opinion, is the key to a good cosplay?
Ooh, that's really difficult. I would say the most important thing to me is high quality materials, and then the overall proportion of a look. So I think everything else is kind of like up to whatever style and genre you're going for. But I would say as long as you're using high quality materials and that your proportions look right, that is the most important thing.
Your proportions.
Yeah, which is obviously kind of like the finish, like after you've done everything. But if you can map out your cosplay, if you're hand making it beforehand to make sure that it has the right proportions, you'll end up looking really good in the end, in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah.
Portions.
Yeah. So like making sure that your wig, like depending on the size, obviously, the character I cosplayed, Emma from The Promised Neverland, has these huge spikes on her head, right? So if I'd only done like the small spikes, it wouldn't have really
would
looked
have worked out as well.
Yeah.
I
Whereas
understand.
if I've got like the full spike going on, the proportions, it's more recognizable what the character is.
Okay.
I understand.
Yeah. Or like the height of a boot. You know, if the Puss in Boots, how high they come up on the leg, you know, you want to match that to the original image as closely as possible.
Well, you have one of those monster swords that they carry around on one shoulder in anime. Yeah, you want that to be a monster sword. don't you?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So Japan won. One more time, congratulations, Japan.
Yes.
And this year you did participate? You didn't participate?
No, this year I decided not to go out to Nagoya this year, just because of like how hot it was. But instead, I really wanted to go to Tokyo Idol Festival, which happens on the same weekend as WCS.
Does it really?
It
They
does.
muffed that one up, didn't they?
They
So
did a little
here-
bit. Yeah.
Here
yeah.
the switch happens between cosplay and idol.
Idol.
And that's what we're going to be talking about in the next episode. All right.
The two wolves inside me.
Oh my
One
goodness.
idol, one cosplayer.
Well, tell everyone where those wolves live on the internet.
What are your social media links? Tell us.
You can find me at marmalade.cos on Instagram, and at the moment on YouTube, I believe I'm Marmalade Cosplay. Yeah, and pretty much same for TikTok as well. So please hit me up. Yay!
Fantastic. Well, we see you soon with another episode of
Cat with Beard.
Beard.
Bye bye.
Enjoyed cosplaying as our rice cooker and such.